Hey, welcome to Craft Central Designs. My name is Dwynn, and today I have for you this beautiful autumn pumpkin wreath made with the pumpkin wreath frame from Dollar Tree. Welcome to my current subscribers and to all visiting my channel today. I so much appreciate this platform to share with you my passion for crafting, and it is my sincere hope that you become inspired to be creative through watching my tutorials. Please give my video a thumbs up if you enjoy my content and leave your comments. I so appreciate receiving them. Look at this beautiful, beautiful wreath with the amazing autumn colors. It's turned out really beautiful. And I think it's very easy to make. Let's see how we put this wreath together. Let's get busy with this beautiful autumn pumpkin wreath. All right, let's look at the materials that we'll need to create this wreath. This is the pumpkin wreath frame from Dollar Tree. Now, Hobby Lobby also has one similar to this, a little bit more heavy duty, perhaps just a little bit smaller. This wreath frame actually spans 20 inches wide, so it's quite a substantial size wreath when it's finished. I have this burlap that I purchased by the yard from Hobby Lobby. It's a beautiful off-white burlap. I considered using an orange burlap, but I actually wasn't able to find any. But that's a good thought. I mean, perhaps you might be able to find some and make that wreath with orange burlap, or a nice rusty burlap, or even a more natural colored burlap, like the color in that ribbon on the top. You do you. You be creative. Think of how you would like your wreath to look. Those two ribbons there I'm going to be using on this wreath, as well as that one, which is a 1.5 inch wired ribbon from Hobby Lobby, a gorgeous rusty orange color. The other one, the natural colored one, that was from Walmart. And the beautiful autumn wreath, the other one that you saw previously, that 2.5 inch, that one is also from Hobby Lobby. That twisted twine that you saw in my hand there just recently, just 30 seconds ago, that I'm going to use for the stem of the pumpkin. And here's that ribbon that I was just referring to. Now, I was mentioning in a previous video to be cautious of the many different shades of orange out there in craft stores, from one craft store to the next, to Walmart, to online sources. I'm mentioning this because some of the oranges are extremely bright. And you have to be careful that you're going to be matching or coordinating or putting in compatible colors together when you create a wreath. I'm giving you an example here. Look how bright those leaves are. Now, you would not want to use that on this wreath that I'm creating. See, it does not go with that ribbon. It's a completely different orange. Even this pitberry garland, see the pitberries on there? They're not compatible with that ribbon. So just be mindful to match your florals with your ribbon. It's very important. Now these leaves, now those are compatible. I check everything out like this before I make a wreath. I'm very particular about that, for my colors to be compatible. And go beautifully with the ribbon that I choose. That leaf is perfect. Those brown leaves are just fine. It's the oranges that you really have to be concerned about. I'm going to be using 2 sunflowers on this wreath. The rusty, gorgeous colored sunflower is a little bit bigger. The yellow one is just a little bit smaller. Both absolutely exquisite. I got those at Hobby Lobby. I have some raffia there, which I didn't end up using, and some other floral stems and pieces that I may or may not use. You'll see what I end up using. That berry spray, I was debating. Even that one, I wasn't really 100% sold that it went well with that ribbon. But these two florals, perfect. And especially with those sunflowers, especially that rusty orange colored sunflower. These are those pomegranate seeds or pods. I'm not sure what you call them. But those go fine. I didn't end up using them, but they would have gone fine had I used them. Now see how beautiful that floral pick went with that ribbon. Very important to select the right florals to go with your ribbon. Of course, we're going to use some pine cones there. I'm going to be using a roll of that cotton twine that I purchased from Dollar Tree. You've seen me use this on a lot of my coastal projects. I absolutely love it. Now, I am using that pretty cream-colored burlap, and I could have used a jute cord. That would look pretty to define the lines in the pumpkin. But I'm going to go ahead with the cotton cord that matches the burlap. You do you. I really love the idea of using orange burlap, like a nice rusty orange burlap. If you could find it anywhere, good luck on that one. I didn't have any. I did see they had some on Amazon, but it was kind of a ridiculous price. So I'm just going to go with what I have. I'm happy with it. All right, so if you watched my tutorials with this coastal starfish and the coastal shell wreath, you know exactly what I'm going to do here. But if you have not seen those tutorials, what I'm going to do is be wrapping all of those wreath wires with this cord. Now, I cut my cords at least 2.5 times as long as each of those wreath wires. Those vertical wreath wires, the ones I'm pointing to there. That way, if I cut off the cords, I can wrap them a lot faster than trying to manage the roll. Every time I feed it through and wrap it, having to deal with the roll. So I cut mine at least 2.5 times, maybe a couple inches even more than that. So I begin my process of wrapping by putting a little dab of hot glue there and just securing or anchoring that cotton cord there. And then from there, I'm just going to be wrapping and wrapping and wrapping and wrapping all of those cords. I do all of the vertical ones first, then I'll go around and do all of the perimeter of the pumpkin. And this process goes rather quickly. Now what we're going to be doing after we wrap all of those wires is we're going to be laying that burlap on the underside and pressing it up against all of those wires to create that pumpkin shape. And I'm letting you know there, get busy. Get busy wrapping. That's what I'm telling you. It's not so bad. Turn on the TV or put on a movie or something. Look how pretty. Isn't that pretty? Now, of course, I didn't wrap the stem because I have that twisted twine cording from Hobby Lobby. That's going to look so pretty on that stem. So if you have any loose little fringes from the cotton cord, I just take a tiny dab of hot glue and with my finger protector, and I just press down the fringes, clean up all of my edges. Now, this is the part that's somewhat tedious, but very doable. Once you get going, you'll see that it's really not difficult. It's just a little bit time consuming. So what I did was I cut a piece of fabric 28 inches long by 20 inches wide. And I'm going to clip that fabric. I'm going to place it down inside of there. Try and position it and center it as much as possible so that I have an equal amount of excess material on the outer perimeters of that pumpkin frame. So right now I'm just trying to get a feel, if you will, for the amount of material and how it's going to fit inside of that wreath frame. So you see me pressing down. It's kind of like a big oblong bowl, actually. And you're just pressing that fabric all down inside of there to try and conform as much as possible to the shape of that pumpkin wreath frame. I just use my clips that I purchased at Dollar Tree. These come in very handy. It's one of those essential things to have in your craft arsenal, if you will. Now, what we're going to be doing after I finish clipping all this fabric on is I am going to be taking my glue gun and all along the edge, I'm just going to go on the outer perimeter of one of the sides of that pumpkin, and I'm going to anchor my burlap. Oh my goodness, my dog. I'm so sorry about that. Good heavens. Sorry. Sometimes Savannah has to have a word or two to say while I'm doing a voiceover, and she just did. Okay, that's my Labradoodle, by the way. Okay, so back to what we're doing. I'm going to be taking my hot glue gun, and I'm going to be anchoring the edge, just a portion of the edge, just so that I can have that stable on that wreath form. Right about that much, I'm just going to be anchoring that right to the wreath frame. Okay, so when we do this, what you're going to do is very, very small sections. I want to say an inch or two. You're going to put a line of hot glue. This is going to be a very gradual process because we need to conform that burlap to the inside and to the shape of that wire wreath frame. Now, in order to do that, we have to do it slowly, carefully, and methodically. I do it in very small sections. I want to say maybe 2 inches. Then I stop, keep my finger protectors on, press that burlap right to the wreath wire. I just lift up my burlap there, put down my hot glue, pat, 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 make sure it adheres. And I'm only going to do that outer perimeter section there. That will be enough to secure that burlap onto that side, and then I'll show you what we're going to do after that. Again, a little bit of hot glue. Again, this is the most tedious of tasks when it comes to this particular project. But it turns out so pretty, and it's so worth the effort. Okay, so now I have that adhered to that section of the wreath wire. Okay, so I took off all of my clips. I can do that now. And now I am going to go and do all of my vertical wires going through that pumpkin. And I'm going to do it in very small sections. Now, when I do this and I press down my burlap, I'm pulling it as the same time I'm pulling it taut, or I want it to be pulled from wire to wire. This is how I'm going to get a nice adherence of the burlap without bulges or wrinkles. Small sections. That's the key. You have to do small sections. And then you have to put the burlap back over, press down that area that you put the glue. And at the same time, you want to pull the burlap so that when it adheres to the wreath wire, it's taut or pulled tightly. Not too tightly, but tightly enough so that it's taut, if you know what I mean by that. I'm trying to think of another way to say it, but you get the idea. You don't want wrinkles or bulges. Now, you can do the end wires if you want at the same time, but I'm going to advise you to do all of your vertical wires first. And then as you go along, you can secure the ends, those wires in between all the vertical wires, or you can do it at the end. I actually did mine as I went along. But I'm telling you, as long as you go slowly, as long as you pull your fabric to make sure that it's smooth and taut, little sections at a time, all the way through, and you will have a nice finish just like this. It's beautiful. Now, if you have any areas that you missed with respect to the burlap adhering to any of the wires, you could take care of that now. I missed a couple of little small spaces, and I just filled them in. Next thing we're going to do is trim off all of that excess burlap. Nice sharp scissors. Just go around the bottom edge, clean everything up. And look how pretty. It's really pretty. I like it so far. This one was a little bit more of a challenge than the shell wreath frame that I did, and the starfish. This one had a little bit more of a challenge. It gave me a little bit more of a challenge to get through that, but I did it, and it looks pretty. So now I have that twisted cord. I love this cord, and I'm so happy that I'm going to be able to wrap this stem and make that stem with this cord. Now, I'm going to tell you, after I finished decorating with all the florals, I ended up not being able to really see that stem poking up out of there. So I'm going to tell you that what I did after I was all done with all the decorating of that pumpkin, I created an extender stem. And I did so simply by cutting out a piece of cardboard. I covered the piece of cardboard with the same twisted cord. I glued it to that existing stem there, And then I was able to see my stem poking up from my florals, which made me very happy because I really loved the look of this twisted cord stem. So, where there's a will, there's a way. I just love the idea of seeing that stem poking up from all of my florals. I knew it was going to just be a great finishing touch. So, but anyway, you have to go ahead and wrap the cord around the stem. So you're going to go ahead and do that, what you see me doing there anyway. This cord is very stiff, a little bit hard to work with, so you have to put a dab of glue there every now and then, and first be certain to wear your finger protector. See how pretty? Oh my gosh, I love that. That was a good selection, that cord. I'm going to find some other uses for that cord for autumn decor. It's so pretty. Hobby Lobby. And of course, everything now is 40% off and their autumn decor. Everything autumn decor. And here we go. Another bow. Yes, this is going to be a gorgeous bow that is going to be like the star of the Wreath show, okay? This is going to be gorgeous on this piece. As I mentioned, I got this ribbon at Walmart. Always check Walmart in their seasonal department. They really have some nice ribbons. And I love this one. This just has a beautiful, nice burlappy texture. I'm going to be doing a 3-loop bow. My tail, I measured out to 10 inches. Each of those loops is also 10 inches. I'm trying to give you the number of inches per loop on the bows that I make now, hoping that will help you along in the bow making process. I would like for you to learn to do them without having to think about inches, but more by learning how to gauge the size of your loops just by eyeballing it, just by placing the loops up to your piece and saying, yeah, that's right, that's good. I think that's the way I've been doing it for a gazillion years and it works for me. So I have 3 loops on each side, 10-inch tails. Cut that off from the spool. This is going to be the base ribbon for our base bow. 3 loops on each side, 6 loops all together. And this just goes beautifully on that pumpkin. Layer number 2 is going to be that gorgeous ribbon from Hobby Lobby. It's kind of a rusty orangey color. It's a beautiful texture. It's a 1.5 inch ribbon, and it's okay to mix your widths of ribbon in your bows. I do it all the time. You can do your ribbons or your bows any way that you like. I just love to mix it up, and I love to do triple ribbon bows. Now I'm going to sandwich this one right in between that beautiful ribbon I got from Walmart and that gorgeous pumpkin print ribbon I got from Hobby Lobby. And this just goes absolutely beautiful with that rusty colored sunflower that I've been dying to use, and I'm finally using it. I still have that green one. Oh my gosh, I love that green one too. I just love sunflowers. Okay, that is tier number 2 to our mixed ribbon bow. Actually, triple layer bow. Oh gosh, I have to say it, you guys. Watch my bow tutorials. I'm going to put them in the description box. I have numerous tutorials. Each one is done slow, methodical, and simplified so that you can learn this bow making process. I'm going to do a 2-loop bow. Yes, a 2-loop bow on each side, or 4 loops all together. I'm going to take that nice camel colored pipe cleaner and secure my loops. Now I'm going to create a button right down the middle, and I was very lucky. I got that beautiful orange leaf sitting right on top of my button. How lucky am I? And I put that pipe cleaner right down the center of that center loop. Pull it around the back, give it a twist, and there we have layer number 3 of our mixed ribbon bow. So now I'm going to take that tail that's on top, poke it right through that center loop. Again, this is all in my tutorials. Take a look at them. And this is absolutely beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful ribbon. We're going to attach all 3 of these bows together. I snip that pipe cleaner off, bend it over, so I can place that flush right up against that beautiful rusty orange bow. I snip that one off for the same reason. I want it nice and flush. Now I have all 3 of them together. I'm pressing very firmly with my fingers to get them nice and tightly adhered to one another. I take my pipe cleaner, put it right down the center of that bow, pull it around the back, and I now have all those layers of beautiful ribbons all secure in the back. Now I'm going to be gluing that bow right to the pumpkin so I could snip off those pipe cleaners. Now I'm just going to fluff up my bow a little bit. I want to see how pretty it looks. And it's beautiful. I angle my tails. If you like to dovetail, you can do that as well. You do you, I always say. But I love angling my tails. And I also love the 1.5 inch more narrow ribbons because I generally like to curl those a bit. See how pretty they curl there? And I do like that going down the side of the pumpkin. See how I just love that. I angle those tails as well. And we could cut those once we see how that bow looks on the pumpkin. We can trim those up as need be. But there's that beautiful, beautiful bow. That bow is going to be quite dramatic on that pumpkin. It's really going to make quite a statement. Beautiful. Okay. So here we have our covered pumpkin frame with that beautiful burlap. Our stem is wrapped. Our gorgeous bow is made. Do you see what I mean about a statement? That is absolutely gorgeous. I am going to put that bow and adhere it right to that wreath wire and that burlap off to the left of the stem. I'm going to sit it right on the upper rounded part of that wreath frame. And notice how I'm trying to get the placement right, so I'm facing the wreath to myself there. Okay, so I'm going to tilt that bow slightly. I don't want it straight up and down. I tilt it slightly toward the stem. Now I'm holding it on very tightly from the back there so I get a good adherence with my hot glue. Now, all the while, I am trying, as I decorate this pumpkin, to keep that stem visible. But when I got that beautiful sunflower on there and started putting the florals, it just kept getting lost behind the florals. So that's why I ended up doing the extension, which I'll show you more of that later. So I went ahead and I placed my sunflower. I placed my smaller sunflower, the yellow one, kind of in the center, and then my other beautiful rusty orange sunflower, the bigger one, is sitting right up on top on the other side of the stem. Now I'm going to start applying my florals. I'm going to frame out my sunflowers with my various colored leaves. When I place my leaves on, I like to have them not flat against the pumpkin, but tilted. I like them to be poking up, sitting on their side, or, just in various positions, just not flat on the wreath. Use your creativity to try and create, a beautiful look with your florals. Now I have these beautiful, I don't really know what they're called. Are they cattails or something like that? I don't know why that keeps coming to mind, but there's those pieces that you just saw me poke in there. I'm going to do a kind of a spray of those going down the front, and then also right there where my hand is. That's what I was talking about. I don't really know what you call them, but those are super pretty. Those are from Hobby Lobby. And I also have some that match that ribbon, the color of that ribbon. So it's really a really pretty embellishment for this pumpkin to pull all those colors together. And there it is. I'm going to pop that in there. See how this is coming alive? So pretty. Everything goes in and adhered by hot glue, of course. Now, I'm not going to make you watch me do every little piece of this, but I am going to kind of take you for a tour, if you will, of the piece once I get it all done, just so that you can see everything that I added and my reasoning for adding it. Remember, symmetry, balance of your piece. Look how pretty. And this is the tour. Okay. Now I'm going to take you to this side here. Pay attention to all sides. Of course, not the back, because this is going to go on a door or on a wall. But I have pine cones in the back. I have beautiful leaves in the back. There's that gorgeous ribbon. Oh my God, that beautiful bow. Just magnificent. See how I curl my ribbons there? That 1.5-inch ribbon. And then we have that kind of spray of those, can we call them cattails? Because I really don't know what else to call them. You can see that I've framed out my sunflowers with different color leaves. So beautiful. And then on the other side, oh, look at that sunflower. Now at this point I had not done, there's my stem. See how short it is back there? I really had to do something about that. So I did after I filmed this clip here. And then I have some various other leaves, and I have a mixture of those, well, let's call them cattails. So pretty. Around the side, I put some pine cones, a few little pine cones in the front as well. There's a pine cone. I made a little hanger for the back out of jute twine. This piece is very, very lightweight. You're going to want to make sure where you hang this, that it doesn't get smashed. This is actually like around 5 inches deep at the deepest part of the pumpkin, it sticks out. It sticks out about 5 inches from the wall or the door or wherever you put it. And here it is, outside in the beautiful natural light. For one last look, I have one more outdoor decor tutorial in store for you. Please remember to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave your comments. I sincerely appreciate that, as I am a relatively new channel and close to reaching my first subscriber goal. Be watching for my next video. I'm going to do something pretty for the door or indoor decor for the wall for autumn. Okay, until next time, you all take care.